What's up? I started this conversation earlier, but I kind of had to rush through it because I had something to do for a few hours today. I had a class to attend. And so this conversation is about, like, I've been wrong before. It doesn't kill me to admit that I've been wrong before. Plenty of times, a lot of times. It's not the end of the world to admit that I'm flawed. I'm a very flawed individual. I'm very far from perfect. Very, very, very far from perfect. I have physical flaws and imperfections. I have mentalities that I need to purge, out of my mind. I'm work in progress, believe me, on this journey of refinement. So it really doesn't take anything away from me to say that I've been wrong before, and I will be wrong again. I've been wrong when I've assessed people before. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character at this point, but there have been times where I've thought that people were not like good people, and they turned out to be actually good people. And then there's been times, plenty of times, where I've, trusted a little bit too much, and thought somebody was really cool, and they turned out to not be cool at all. And so I kind of have to get out of that habit because I kind of more lean on that side still. And you never really know somebody, In the Quran it says that there's 3 ways to know somebody. You have to travel with them, for a while. You work with them, or you live with them. And those are really like the 3 ways that you really, really know somebody. So a lot of the things as far as assessing people's personalities are assumptions. And I'm trying my best. Like I said, I'm work in progress. I do make generalizations often, but I'm trying my best not to, because it's important to take people case by case. Not everybody that looks like you is your friend. Not everybody who doesn't isn't your friend. And so having that mentality can kind of save you some headache and some heartache when you go through life. And I wanted to kind of start this conversation about like gender and gender roles and the way that I see things and dating and relationships. And, for me, there was a time that I was like, I put myself more out there. When I was single, there were times that I put myself more out there. But when I moved away to Southern California and I really began to dive more deep into my pursuits, I found a lot of contentment in getting closer to my dreams. And I spoke to somebody who I'm very close with, who's married and has a beautiful family, wonderful children. And she told me, she's like, I think that, this was years ago we had this conversation. We were actually in Cali when we had this conversation. She said to me, she's like, you're very committed to pursuing your dreams, but I think that that's just because you haven't met the right one yet. I think all of that stuff will be put on pause when you meet your husband. And I looked at her like, I don't know, I'm a Leo, so I don't know if that's the case. We're very much go-getters. We're very ambitious, and we're very much about what it is we're about. And so when I moved to Cali, the few years that I was in California, and things started becoming more real, and I was able to cultivate my craft. I really give a lot of credit to California, that I was able to become a better dancer because I was in dance class. There were times when in Cali that I would start my craft at 8 a.m. and wouldn't be done until 7:30. I would start with an hour of yoga, and then I would go to a Latin dance class, and then I would do ballet afterwards, and it would just be back to back to back to back dancing and yoga and stuff from 7:30, 8:30 until evening time, until dinner time. And so I really can give a lot of me cultivating my craft, becoming a better dancer to California. And I had so much fun. I met so many different types of people, dancers. I had opportunity to meet dancers from Japan, dancers from Germany, dancers from all parts of Latin America, some of the best like break dancers, and some of the best just all types of Latin dancers and things like that. I met some really cool people. I met surfers. I was on the beach one day and I met some ladies who wanted me to join their all ladies surf group. And I've never surfed, but just enjoying my life, like fully engulfed in me. And I was still a single mom, I would still have to drop my son off in the morning and pick him up after school and all those things. But I was able to really hone in on my craft, and it became like a celebration of life. Like I really can't put into words how much I began to really like celebrate my life and show total appreciation and gratitude for me being in the skin that I'm in, me having these gifts that I have, me loving what I'm pursuing, me loving music, me loving dance. And that enthusiasm and that passion is what made me a better dancer, a stronger dancer, is what opened doors. I told you guys the story. I was at Mario Van Peebles' house and, had a brief conversation with him. I got invited to Stan Lee's house in the Hollywood Hills. Things started turning around for me. And so I started to see, and I did meet guys and I did date a couple guys or whatever, but I really began to like very much appreciate my life as a single woman. And the necessity that I had formerly felt of maybe having a mate or a partner, I didn't feel that because I felt very fulfilled within my pursuits and within my career and where I was, and just enjoying my life. So when I came back to DC, I really brought that energy with me. And I want to say this because I'm here to create peace and harmony, period. I reiterate, I love men. Love you guys. Not all men, but you get what I'm saying. I love men. I'm a daddy's girl. I've met some wonderful men, some men that are just like, I give the most respect to. I tip my hat to dads. It's like, I find myself particularly attracted to dads just because I love the idea of like a nurturing man. I think it's so beautiful. Fatherhood is so beautiful to me. But I say this to say that I felt, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because I'm writing right now, and I'm hoping that some of these things that I want to communicate, that you guys will purchase this book that I'm going to be working on, and it's going to go more in depth about the things that I'm discussing. But I began to see when I got back from Washington, D.C., where the vibe is very different than it is in Southern California, that my celebration of just me enjoying the skin that I'm in, enjoying my pursuit, enjoying me just being Kinza, which to me was gratitude, which to me was ultimate gratitude, to wake up and feel good about being you. I felt like that was gratitude more than like complaining about who you are and the cards that life dealt to you and all these things. But I believe that part of the issues that I started facing was that men, and I'm making a generalization, was not all men, but some men started to view me, not Kinza specifically, but the idea of me, a woman who was starting to see life as okay without a male counterpart, without a husband, and really like enjoying herself. I think that it frightened men. I think that it frightened men because they see themselves through us. And this is not, I'm not saying that this is ideal, right? Ideally, every Jack would have his Jill. Every king would have his queen. Every prince would have his princess. And every princess would have her prince, queen would have her king, so on and so forth. Ideally, right? Because there's like 8 billion people, and almost 50% are men, and almost 50% are women. So that whole idea of like this gender imbalance, like 10 women to every male, is incorrect. It's not a fact. Ideally. But I just feel like if the circumstance isn't ideal, then you might as well still enjoy your life. Like, there's no reason to like sit around sulking about the things that you haven't manifested yet. Like, live your life to the fullest, live your life to the utmost, and enjoy your life and appreciate the things that you have manifested. Appreciate who you are, appreciate who you've become. Celebrate your divinity, the things that you like about yourself. And so I wasn't like, my celebration of my life and me enjoying my life had nothing to do with you guys. Like, I want to be very clear, it had nothing to do with men. And again, I'm not going to get too much into the backstory because I know, like, I don't want to challenge what some of the alpha males are suggesting, because I know, bottom line, that we are living in a very unbalanced world, and the fact that there's so many women that are single, so many men that are single, and all of this stuff is because of the unbalance of the world. I'm very aware of that. We are living in dysfunction. And so I'm not here to promote that. Of course, the most ideal situation is you finding a loving partner. That's the most ideal. All I'm saying is, while we're living in dysfunction, we should also understand that the pickings are slim when we talk about high value men, high value, whatever that means, that we're dealing with a cesspool because of this dysfunctional society. What is the dysfunction composed of? This dysfunction is composed of dysfunctional people. So if you're going out into the dating world, chances are you're going to meet someone who is dysfunctional, and they haven't necessarily spent the time to work on themselves. Especially if you've been doing the work to work on yourself, chances are you may not meet your counterpart who's done that work to work on themselves. So what are you going to do? Be at home on some woe is me? Or are you going to celebrate your life to the fullest, to the max? And that's really just like my opinion. I'm not here to celebrate. Of course, the family is ideal. Like, that's number one. The family, the nuclear family unit, the beautiful family unit, a wife who is a nurturer to the babies, and the man who is the protector and the provider, and them celebrating their love and the children being able to witness that love. That's the most ideal circumstance. All I'm saying is, if you haven't found that yet, if you haven't manifested that yet, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. And like, to me, I'm no threat to guys. Like, I'm no threat to you guys. I shouldn't be a threat to men to think, oh, well, if women begin to enjoy their lives, are they going to need us? And I'm no threat to women, because the issue that I've had, like, I'm going to be very candid right now, that the most shade that I've ever gotten has been from housewives, like wives, unhappy wives, who are like, the audacity of this woman to like be enjoying her life. And I'm making a generalization here. There are women that are wives that are cool too. But, you know, I shouldn't be a threat to you either. Because, like, I feel like the reason that a lot of people want to hold other people back, or in captivity, or be shady, or like mean-spirited, or catty, or things like that to other people, is because they're not happy with their lives. And so, like, you trying to hate on my happiness or my liberation or my sense of me, my fulfillment in me, isn't going to bring you any closer to you enjoying your life. I want to be very clear about that. It's not going to bring you any closer to that. And when it comes to relationships, my disposition is like, relationships are a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. But if things don't work out, you're still you. You're still you. You're still popping. You're still moving and shaking and grooving and doing you and cooking the food that you cook, that you like to eat. Dressing how you want to dress and dancing and doing all the things that you like to do. Reading the books that you like to read and pursuing the things that you're pursuing. You're still you. You're still you. And so, when it comes to this, I don't have all the answers. Again, I don't have all the answers. And I would probably say if people want the answers to like what makes a marriage work, I probably wouldn't even be the person to ask, because I've never had a marriage. I've never been married before. But what I can say is that up until that point, there's nothing wrong with celebrating your life. There's no shame in celebrating your life. And nobody can tell you how to feel about yourself. Nobody can dictate to you how good you should feel. They shouldn't have that power to tell you when you can feel good, or if you should feel good, or if you're feeling good about the right thing. Nobody should have that power. Nobody. And so I guess this kind of message is for the men, but this is really for the ladies. Like I said, I tip my hat. As far as my gratitude, my gratitude goes to the moms, because things have been so tough on us as single moms. I'm just now getting comfortable showing my stretch marks. These are from, I didn't have these stretch marks before I had my child, and my breasts aren't the same that they used to be. I used to have very full, large, bouncy breasts, very beautiful breasts, and they went left after I nursed my son, and all types of different things with the body, but that's vain. I would do it all again for the beauty of my child. But when it comes to having these conversations about where you're at in life, I say, well, what do you prioritize? I have never had an abortion. I will never have an abortion. I've been pregnant one time. I have my child to show for that. I will never, ever have an abortion. It is against, everything that I believe in, everything that I stand for. And so, yes, you take a financial hit when you're a single mom and endure a lot of things. People who have never ever been a single mom will talk about your finances. They'll talk about all of these things. They might even talk about your body, your stretch marks, or your tummy and things. And it's like, okay, I had a kid, and I had a kid on my own, and no, he didn't ask to be born, and no, it wasn't an ideal circumstance. But when you raise a kid on your own for 10 plus years, and you have little to no financial contribution, what do you think is going to happen to your finances? What do you think? So there's always a backstory to how somebody got to where they're at. But when I look at my son, who's going to high school now, and I'm just thinking about my life, where it's at right now, and having had the experience of motherhood, I'm very, very grateful for that. And nobody can tell you to be happy or what to celebrate. I prioritize motherhood over wealth, over other things. I prioritize having a child. And I'm very grateful that I made that decision. And so I'm reaping the blessings, I believe, from my Creator, of making the right choice and making the right decision, where I am at a stage of life where I can really enjoy my life and celebrate myself and be comfortable with the skin that I'm in. And I tip my hats to mothers. I tip my hat to moms specifically. And no, kids didn't ask to be born, but we shared our body for nearly 10 months with them. We share our time, we share our money, we do anything for them. And so I know Mother's Day is, but that's who I ride for, that's who I champ for. And I just kind of wanted to go a little bit further into detail about that now that I'm done with my classes for the day. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be tapping in soon. There's more stuff to talk about. I really want to get into this mental health thing. I got my opinion about COVID that I've kind of been keeping on the low, on the hush. So at some point this week, I'm going to break down this whole pandemic, this plandemic. But until next time, everybody, much love, peace. Talk to you then.